So just tell me, where are we? Who are you? Where are we?
Okay, so I am Richard Goring, and I'm speaking to you from the Barrel Hall at Wiston Estate. And so we're right in the middle of the estate here.
Dermot Sugrue, we're at Sugrue South Downs. This is our winery. We've only had this winery for 2 vintages now. We turned an old tractor barn into this boutique winery in 2023 and had a magnificent harvest, huge harvest, whilst we're still building this winery. And then as we've kind of polished it over the last year or so, we brought in the 2024 harvest, which ironically was a much smaller harvest, owing to a challenging year, in a much more improved facility. So yeah, this is the winery, we love it.
I'm Artelium. Who are we? We're Stopham, a vineyard with 6 hectares of vines. And right now, I'm pruning the lovely winter job.
Well, I'm Peter Hall, and here we are in my labelling room, and I'm very, very busy labelling. A tiny vineyard, less than 6 acres, but nevertheless, we've achieved great things. I like to be modest, so I'm not going to blow my trumpet too much, but the wines are very successful. I've got 20 cases went off to Sketch Restaurant Mayfair last week, and that was every month they might have, that's quite special. Got 3 Michelin stars, and there aren't many.
I think one of the main things is that it's run by young people. So
a young team.
A young team, young owners. So we potentially appeal to a slightly different crowd, a different audience. We market ourselves potentially a little bit differently. And we really like to focus on the human story in the way that we present Kinsbrook to the public. We find that that's what people are actually interested in.
If you're going to plant a vineyard in the UK, you have to be passionate. Money shouldn't be the goal. It may be if you do it really well, but it should be you're passionate. That's what I want to do. And there's a lot of people invest in vineyards who know sweet fuck all about wine, and and they're learning.
Yeah, I think I'm eccentric or mad, not entirely sure, probably a little bit bonkers. I think that would be fair to say. I think you've got to be, this is an emerging country for making wine on the world stage, and you need people who are a little bit crazy, a little bit obsessional, a little bit nuts, a little bit risk-taking. Yeah, there's several people who would contend that I am a little bit mad.
All I know is that you take a bottle of Breaky Bottom and a bottle of Envy champagne, chalk and cheese. They're totally different. The English wines will be way up there.
There's people now already starting to drink Sussex Sparkling wines in Tokyo, San Francisco, New York. All around the world, people are drinking Sussex Sparkling wine, and really in the last 10 years, this has become such a success story. Gold medals in all the biggest competitions in the world, all from these fields here in Sussex.
Tell me about this year. How's this year been?
Oh, it's been really tough. Yeah, I mean, last year was really good, so we're expecting a wonderful year this year. And the summer was really quite poor, and so poor in fact we couldn't actually pick all our grapes. They just weren't ripe.
So what happened to them?
We left them. If you look here, do you see? We just left them for the birds. You see the stems there? The birds have had all those. They've done well. We haven't. So we just left them. So we're cutting those off now, and look on the other side, you can see these are nicely pruned ones, and we've forgotten about it. So the thing about making wine is we're so, all of us, we're so positive, So here we are, this is pruned for a new year, and it's all going to be great. If it isn't, well, I'm not going to say if I'm hanging from a winery beam, but we'll be pretty depressed.
What came in is good, but the quantities are literally half what we had last year. So pretty, and that's tough because it basically means our fixed costs, which are exactly the same, you've just doubled the cost of your grapes because we've just had literally half the volume in.
It's been one of the most difficult years we've seen for a long time. Not since 2012, we had such a challenging year, and that's really all down to the weather. Mother Nature herself really gave us a tough kicking this year. So I wish it was easier, but this was not one of the easy years we've ever had.
And it's fair enough, it's going to be up and down. Everyone is different. This last year, 2024, the one we're still in, was a very difficult year. Yeah, I didn't pick any grapes in 2024. Zero. None. Because I like to pick and make vinify from grapes that are really spot on. And it doesn't matter how long I waited this year, they never would have got to the standard that I want to make to keep the quality of the wine up.
We had no frost, that was great. Terrible flowering when we're trying to flower, it was raining. We just had the most English summer ever that then made everything a challenge at the end with disease and ripeness.
Now we're going to go up into here. On va faire comme ça. So these are the tanks, fermentation tanks. All empty because 2024 had zero harvest.
I think the one thing that you feel most is, or what we felt most, is the quantity of vintage, or the quantity that we were able to get this vintage. We were looking for about 100,000 bottles, but we got like almost 50% less of that. So you feel that because all your plans depend on how much grapes you're able to bring in.
This year, even though it was a really challenging year, lots of rainfall and low temperatures, May was record-breaking in terms of the temperatures that we had. So poor vines were desperately confused with an extremely warm start to the year and then absolutely flabbergasted when it became cold and wet and windy at arguably the crucial time of year that determines your yield, which is flowering and fruit set, end of June, start of July. That's great too, absolutely great.
I mean, it's like harvest this year. We ended up having to pick 45,000 vines in the space of 4 days, where normally you would spread that over the course of a month because there was a storm coming and all the fruit was going to be gone if we didn't get it off the vines.
So this year was, 2024 was the worst year we've seen since 2012, so the worst year within the last 13 years. And we lost about 60% of all of our grapes this year. And we can sustain that for a year, but what happens if that happens 2 years or 3 years in a row? What do we do? And do we start to question what we're doing and how we do? And we start to, question our life really, and what are we doing with this?
What happens if 25 is like 24?
I don't even want to think about it. But I mean, I guess it's just another year without any pay. I mean, look, every year is different, so I'm not even going to think about it. Otherwise, I just get depressed.
I've been making wine in England for 21 years now, and the one thing I've learned is that you can never predict what's going to happen with any great accuracy whatsoever. You always expect that it can be a little bit of a disaster, like it was in 2024, and that more or less every 4 to 5 years you get both a kick in the shins and a knee in the balls from Mother Nature. If you think it's going to be a smooth line on your graph and on your spreadsheets when you're planning a project like this, well, be prepared to be very wrong. It's a question of how wrong you'll be and not how right.
Well, if we run out of wine, that's a bit of a problem. Well, we won't have much to do. We run out of money, and if you run out of money, you close. We have to all just go home and find new jobs. That will be tough.
What do we got here, Rick?
Skyscrapers to the moon, except that they're all empty. So 4 tanks of 24,000 litres each, all empty this year. Really, really painful. We bought them in 2018. It was another massive year. We had like 4 tankers in here backed up. So we were at kind of maximum capacity, bought these, and then they basically stayed empty 2019, 2020, 2021, I think, as well. Yeah, and 22. So we only filled them back up again last year. 23 was massive. Now they're empty again. Stainless steel, sitting doing absolutely nothing.
That's nearly, what's that, 100,000 litres
Just under
of volume,
100,000 litres.
of space.
Enough to not be empty. Painful.
So to get a full winery ready, we are aiming to get to the date of October 1st. That's really when we're harvesting in the UK. So we're going to have to find this equipment and find it probably second-hand, not being able to afford it, so we're going to have to find it piecemeal and get it all in and get it all operational, which second-hand equipment piecemeal takes a lot more tinkering and last-minute endeavours to get it working. So this whole room will be transformed in probably a 3 or 4 month window from the spring to the autumn to get it ready for those grapes that don't wait.
No, I'm confident about next year. I'm naturally an optimist. I'm a glass half full sort of guy. Yeah, so we're going to do our first export starting in March in 2025. We're going to start exporting wine to the Netherlands. So our British products are going abroad and we're trying to get the Europeans drinking English sparkling wine.
I hope the sun will come and pop its face out and grace us with its presence. Less rain, definitely, and just a lot more heat, consistent heat, and a bigger crop. So if we have a repeat of this year, which we've never really had, it will definitely be a change in climate.
I think there's every chance that it'll be a damn sight better than 2024. Yeah. But who knows? I love the idea that it's unknown. Yeah.
There were growers who lost everything this year, and you can do that for 1 year or sometimes even 2, but there will be vineyards who will be bleeding, who will be finding it very, very hard out there. And if we have a tough year, I don't know where we're going to be. So, everything is a risk. We need to make it work.
The plans for 2025, we're going bigger, we're going harder, we're well prepared for it. We've got new presses, we're buying new machines, we're buying new tanks. The team's getting bigger on both the winemaking and the sales and marketing side. So we're best prepared and we are ready to go for another bumper year in 2025.
What's at stake here?
The family farm is at stake. I'm doing this to pass it over to my 2 little boys. I've got 2 boys, one's 4, one's 1, and I want to pass this farm over in a profitable, good place to them and not be on our knees desperately trying to sell, and it's my children's future.
Look, it's agriculture, it's farming, and I grew up in a farming environment in County Limerick in Ireland, and this is the nature of it, What I guess, well, a couple of things. I've got broad shoulders, I'm able to handle stress quite well, I think I quite enjoy it, and I'm naturally a risk taker, so yeah, works for me. You're dealing with Mother Nature. I just manage what we can manage and try not to lose too much sleep out of what we can't manage.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
If you imagine that every week you have to make a decision of risk that I think that most people would not feel that comfortable doing. I think that's pretty well known just as a business entrepreneur, business owner. That's sort of why you end up in that position. I think you're willing to take a risk that most people wouldn't feel comfortable doing, and that can be financial, that can be with your time, that can be with Hail Marys in any business decision. But what is the point? Like if you're not willing to take the risk, then there's no point at all, because anything could go wrong, any business idea might not work. But if you have the vision and you have the sort of evidence to back it up with your feedback from your customers and your staff and the people believing in the industry, then you're onto a good thing, and you're onto something that is worth risking that. And I mean, yeah, it's stressful, but actually what we have, being outside, having a vineyard, having the food culture, having the wine culture. It's a pretty good gig. Like, it's things that people like to do. Apart from this nightmare of a dog, everything else is perfect.
Trying to make the thing actually pay for itself is way harder than it looks. So that's the thing. We're basically like swans paddling desperately, but needing to look really serene on the surface so that everyone goes, yeah, this looks wonderful. We'd like to be part of this. And we're doing a bunch of accommodation in the vines here as well. So that's going to be a fun project for you to film. You can watch all the disasters of our accommodation foundations being laid and whether we get planning from the National Park. National Park love the idea of visitors, but they don't actually want anywhere for them to stay, it appears.
Gambling is extreme highs and extreme lows, and those extreme highs are enough to keep people coming back and risking more and more. We are constantly putting out fires. We're constantly risking everything. The lows are horrific, but the highs are also so unimaginably great that it means that we keep going, we keep grinding, because I guess the hope is that we'll get there. Or we're just insane.
Yeah,
that too.
I'll take both.
Or we're just insane.
So 23, especially last year, fantastic. And we thought you get lulled into this false sense of security going, isn't this easy? And this year we get reminded how really tough it can be. And yeah, we're not going to Vegas every year. Our daily job is enough risk for me just doing this.
I think you have to have a little bit of craziness about you. If you, I think more bravery than craziness. I think there is quite a bit of bravery because everything is against you over here. The climate is against you, the soil isn't some of the best. But yeah, I mean, there's some really good stuff to taste and it's looking pretty good.
You've got to be a little bit mad, haven't you? We all are. When we get together, you know, we all get together as all the vineyards all get together for booze up. We had one last weekend actually. We all drink each other's wine and get drunk. And that makes us feel better.
It is all worth it because clearly we're onto something. And
Or like we had our first proposal at the vineyards in the summer, which was amazing. He proposed down on the decking, complete surprise. His girlfriend had no idea. And the farmhouse, like out on the balcony and the patio, it was full of people. Everyone watched it, stood up, cheered and clapped at the end.
100 people cheering him.
Oh, it was so special. And you just realised that, like, for us, we see the grind and the hardships. But for our customers, for the people that are coming here, we're playing a really big part in their lives and their stories, and that is actually what makes it all worthwhile, I would say, is being able to do that for people.
We've had some people bring their baby, the first time they've been out, they bring their baby here. We've had people come here on their last day. So you have some really nice stories.
Wow. Joe, bit of a mosh.
It's good.
Yeah.
There are vineyards up for sale right now at the moment. You know, they're on the kind of local intranet saying, does anybody want to buy our stuff because we're out. And I think, you know, really big investment. A banker who'd done unbelievably well, like serious amounts of money, and he invested millions and millions and millions, and he's sold it because he can't make it work. And I remember 2012 happening, and us looking at the kind of spreadsheet, and he was just like, that is not on the business plan at all. And you have a couple of those, and it just, what it does is it sucks the fun out of it. So people who've gone into it thinking, oh, this will be fun, this will be like a little retirement project, and it's not fun when it doesn't actually pay for itself. And so then quite quickly it becomes stressful, and then quite people think, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for?
For sure, it is a roller coaster ride. There's no doubt about that. It's ups and downs. You've got to roll with the punches and expect little crises, major disasters, all sorts of incidents and accidents along the way. And the more you can kind of accept that those are coming in the post, the better it is for everybody's mental health, I'd suggest.
Yeah.
But we force ourselves to be like, you can't deal with the shit
Yeah.
all year and then not celebrate when you get that planning permission or get that incredible yield in or whatever you're celebrating. So it does feel like the industry's about to blow up and it's about to have this moment, this third wave, I would call it. And if you're not ready and you haven't got the infrastructure and you haven't got the stuff there, you might miss the boat.
It is challenging in that it'll always be slightly more expensive to make wine here than it is in South Africa or South America, or in some instances maybe America as well. But I think it's the bigger the risks, the bigger the reward.
I remember when I was working in Bordeaux, a lady there who's owns and manages a very, very prestigious chateau, and she said, "Dermot, you're on the treadmill now. You don't get off. There's no getting off this stuff. Once you plant a vineyard and you establish your winery, your wine brand, there's no getting off. No getting off."
No, you've got to carry on. You can't just stop after one difficult year. We look at a 5-year average. In that 5 years, we're going to have one disaster, one extremely good year, and then hopefully 3 average years. So 23, we had our extremely good year. 24, we had our extremely bad year, back to back, good then bad. So let's just hope for something a little bit more average in 2025.
So you've got to keep going and keep throwing people at it and keep throwing money at it and keep hoping and praying that the next year is going to be okay.
What happens in here normally? Where are we?
So we're in Chalk. This was a barn that was falling down. The roof was literally about to completely collapse. And we restored the whole barn, and then we have turned it into a restaurant. So this is the place where if people come to eat and go do a wine tour, this is where they come and enjoy themselves. It never stops. If you put your seed in the ground for farming, you just leave it. You make sure you look after it and you nurture it, but basically you don't have to do too much. Every single hour of a restaurant, you're on. It's like being on stage all the time. So Kirsty loves that. I'm not very good at it. So the team are amazing, and they've created an incredible space here, but it is flipping hard. They work blooming hard.
We do lots of hospitality. We do vineyard tours and wine tastings every day, twice a day. People coming in to try all the wines, buy a bottle, drink it amongst their friends. Afternoon tea, lunch. People can stay amongst the vines, have little mountain biking tours. Join one of our yoga in the vine sessions. We have DJ parties in the summer, 1,000 people, head candy, late night DJ nights, open air cinemas. And they're probably sitting back thinking, isn't that beautiful, lovely view of the vines? Whereas I'm looking at going, look at all that work we have in front of us.
The reality is, Charlie, when I'm looking at the figures and trying to work out how we're going to make money out of it, it's pretty flipping stressful, is the answer. When I go outside and see the team working on the vines, working on the woodlands, being out and things, it's amazing. There's no place in the world I would want to be other than at Wiston. When I see the incredible people who are here, the team are amazing, and the passion that they have for this place, that is what we want to do. And I'm like, if only we could just get the flipping money to work, and that can all just keep going. That's all I want to do. I'm like, that's it.
No disaster shots. Come on, don't be filming that, you bollocks. Huh? You love this shit, don't you?
We love this shit. This is minutes.
No, it's exactly the type of thing that you won't be filming around.
You're then in a position where you're not producing. Sorry about this dog.
Go on then.
Come on. He's eating the.
He's eating the sheep shit.
Come on.
Come on.
This way.
Good boy.
Very much. It's been delightful.
Sorry.
Somebody
ruined everything.
is pulling you a vine.
This fucking dog eating shit the whole way down. Get that to your producer.
Hard to concentrate with something sharp.
Yes, just don't lose a finger. That's the.
That's it.